The Agweek Market Wrap is sponsored by Gateway Building Systems.
Welcome to the Agweek Market Wrap, brought to you by Gateway Building Systems. I'm Don Wick of the Red River Farm Network, and as always, Randy Martinson joining us from Martinson Ag Risk Management. Randy, we had a big drop-off in the grains and the oilseeds on Thursday, and then came into some higher prices heading into a three-day holiday weekend. Was that primarily some profit-taking, or what did you see here?
I think it was. I think it was a combination of profit taking, some positioning ahead of the long weekend. And I think there was also some thoughts that maybe Thursday's losses were a little bit overdone and the market needed to kind of come in and clean that up or correct that a little bit. So, especially in the corn market, we continue to see very tight or potentially very tight stocks, well, for both wheat and corn. And I think those markets, you can't take much premium out of that. Otherwise, you're going to increase the demand, which is something we want to try to avoid. Soybeans, on the other hand, they were the bright spot today. On Friday, they opened up strong. They went to post about 25, 30-cent gains and kind of stayed there the whole session.
So what was driving the soybean side?
I think it's still demand. We continue to see, China, an unknown destination, come in and buy quite a few beans over the last 10 days. I think, 2 weeks, we've seen almost 2 million metric ton of sales completed. And that's the ones that are being announced. We don't know what's not being announced yet because we're not seeing USDA's export sales numbers, and we're not going to see those until September 15th. So I think the market could be a little surprised when it comes, when we finally do see the numbers, that maybe our demand's been better than we thought.
And we turn that calendar into September, new marketing year. Does that change the mindset somewhat as well?
It does. Now, of course, we kind of start over again. We know we don't quite know what we sold for last year, but that's past. Now we start looking at what's going on for the new crop. And for corn, supplies are going to be somewhat tight. You're going to see, Ukraine with a little less bushels. They're trying to ship what they've got in the bins right now. Some of that quality isn't so good. So if they want, the countries are buying good quality, feed quality corn, they're got to come someplace else to get it. And that's going to be the U.S. And with the weather conditions in Europe and China as such, we expect demand to increase.
The outside markets was kind of a wild ride this past week as well. We started out, $97 a barrel for crude on Monday at the close, and it wasn't just 2 days later. I think we were down in that upper $80 money. U.S. dollar also seeing some new highs this week. What's been running in those type of markets?
It's the concerns about what's going on in the economy that's, of course, supporting the U.S. dollar, and that does spill over and impact our commodities as well. The big thing, of course, is that I think, if China, an unknown destination, needs product, they're going to buy it no matter what. And I think and the fact that we've got supply, and that's what they need right now. So I think that's kind of helping to push the soybean sales. We've been a little bit disappointing as far as wheat and corn sales that we know of, wheat especially. We know that's been a little bit lackluster. So the dollar's impacting those. But, the fact that Powell made his speech a week ago, I think it was on the Friday, and he kept saying the word pain when he kept talking about what the economy's got to go through, that kind of sent a shiver up the spine of the, not only the stock market, but also the commodities that, we've got some issues to deal with yet. And that's going to continue to come in and temper the market on and off throughout the rest of the fall.
Certainly in our backyard, that spring wheat harvest is moving forward. That weather forecast looks good for that to continue. I had a chance to be out across a good chunk of North Dakota and Northwest Minnesota this week, and you got some pockets where it's been dry and maybe just an average wheat crop, but others we've got some pretty impressive yields being reported in some areas. What are you hearing?
About the same. It's hit and miss. It just depends on how wet it was, how cold it was when the planting took place, and then how hot it got when it was flowering. One thing we are hearing is that, for the most part, the quality is good. Western North Dakota's got a good crop. As you move east, it gets a little bit worse, but there is pockets of good wheat here in the east as well. And what's really going to be interesting is what's going to happen with the really northern tier crop, as that's got a ways to go yet before it's going to be mature and be harvested. And that, I think, could set the tone of what North Dakota's production is going to be for spring wheat.
Yeah, we all know we need all of this month of September, if not a little beyond, for a good share of that corn crop in particular.
Well, exactly. And, not many times do we talk about wheat harvest at the end of September, but I think we're going to be seeing wheat harvesting yet, still that third week of September. Our corn crop is going to need it. It looks like it could be an average crop for corn. The West will probably be a little bit off, but here in the East, it looks like if we can make it with no frost, which it looks like we're frost free for the next couple of weeks, soybeans could also be a pretty good sized crop, especially with these late season rain, the late season rain that we picked up.
Yeah. Randy, switching gears over to the meat trade, no doubt we get into the summer months and we pay attention to those three big holidays: Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day. Does the retail, does the demand shift as we get past these summer months?
It does, and also, the what product you buy changes, and that's the other thing that the trade looks at. So right now, yeah, this is the last of the barbecue season this weekend. Hopefully, we're hoping for some strong demand. There was some good features. It wasn't so much on the beef side, but there's some pork being featured as well. So hopefully, the demand is going to be somewhat strong. Once we get past this, then you start looking more at, what the government does for buying, whether it's for school lunches or for the military, and that's kind of what kind of keeps us going through the winter months. But for right now, cattle look like, if it wasn't for the economy and concerns there, I think cattle would be having a lot better performance. We're going to finish strong this week, mainly because of hopeful of strong demand over the weekend.
Well, again, you mentioned the weekend. The markets are going to be closed on Monday. We won't resume trading till Monday evening. So a 3-day holiday weekend for this marketplace, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah. And, I think some of the trade needs to take a little break and kind of regroup. And so it'll be interesting to see Monday night when we come back. We're not going to have, of course, the crop progress, the numbers to trade, but we are going to have the weekend's weather. And right now, it looks like the Western Corn Belt's going to continue to be hot and dry. Up here in the Northern Plains, we want it warmer and drier so that we can get the spring wheat harvest moving. And it looks like the Corn Belt's going to see some better weather. So right now, it does still look like that corn and soybean crop in the Western Corn Belt is still vulnerable to see some crop loss.
We need every GDU we can get at this point. Randy, appreciate the chance to connect.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, indeed. Randy Martinson, Ag Risk Management, of course, for markets and market analysis throughout the week. You can tune into your Red River Farm Network radio station or go to RRFN online to find that information as well. The Agweek Market Wrap is sponsored by Gateway Building Systems. I'm Don Wick.